Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna start in about a minute. So everybody get their cameras on and we'll get started. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 7:01. Mr. Withers, would you kindly take a roll call attendance?
I certainly will. Mr. Blair,
Here.
Ms. DeSimone,
Here.
Mr. Conti,
Present.
Mr. Waterman,
Present.
Vice President Jackson,
Here.
Mr. Delissio,
Present.
Mr. Cobus,
Here.
Ms. Dolan,
Here.
Ms. Reynolds,
Here.
Ms. Holmes,
Present.
President Cooper,
Here.
all are present and accounted for, President Cooper.
Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. The reason for suspending the rules this evening is we are going to take things slightly out of order to allow Jeremy the opportunity to address the council. As you all have seen in your paperwork this evening, there is an emergency measure, and I do understand that Councilor Conti and Jeremy have connected today, but I wanted to bring Jeremy before the council this evening to give us an update and fill in any of the blanks, and then Richard can, when we get to the committee, also provide any additional information. So with that, we'll take a vote beginning with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes. This is on suspending the rules, okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Reynolds,
Correct.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair. Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. We are operating under suspended rules. And Jeremy, I will kick it over to you and you give us just a brief update, background on the emergency measure, and then Richard can fill in any of the blanks based on your conversation that the two of you have had.
Excellent. Thank you for having me tonight. Thank you for having me first tonight. I've come down over a number of times for funding for this project. We're hoping to close out a Finberg Field capital project to be able to provide a chunk of the funding. Timing hasn't worked out on some permitting issues. So that money's still stuck over in the Finberg Field capital project. And once that closes out, we'll then roll that money forward to do a different project down the road. So we're not out the money. It's just an accessing it sort of issue. And because we didn't do this through a loan authorization and we're paying for it out of current resources, I don't have a budget set up that has a contingency and has all these things in it that I can draw from the loan authorization. I'm hoping this will be the last time I have to come down to you. I've replenished the contingency for this account. As you can see in the first paragraph of my memo, just through some bad luck, it's going to cost us $30,000 more than it possibly could have. But this is an important project to get these roofs weather tight and secure before the winter comes, and getting us to start in November means we have to execute a contract as soon as possible. So that's why once the bids came in, I asked for this as an emergency measure, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Councilor Conti, do you have any additional questions for Jeremy before we let him go?
No, I could ask him, don't you wish you had a capital improvements line item budget? But I won't do that.
All right. Any questions from the council for Jeremy on this emergency measure? It's pretty straightforward, but I wanted to bring him down, and I know that Jeremy and Councilor Conti have connected. So I think Richard will be able to answer any additional questions we may have when the motion comes before us. All right. Jeremy, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. We'll move on to the reading of the mayor's communication.
September 21, 2021, dear municipal councils. For your information, I regret to inform your honorable body that we have received the resignation of Lisa Nelson from the Board of Assessors. Please join me in thanking Ms. Nelson for her service to the city. I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Wastewater Thomas Hayes regarding the need for funds to pay a fiscal year 21 invoice to North Attleboro Sewer that was recently received. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $24,187.76 from account wastewater enterprise fund reserve fund for transfer to account wastewater enterprise fund previous year's bills. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
Respectfully submitted communication from Superintendent of Public Works, Michael Tyler, regarding the need for funds to purchase 6 new solar-powered speed radar signs and 1 new solar-powered crosswalk sign. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $32,187.78 from account citywide reserve fund for transfer to the following: $4,489.38 to account Public Works crosswalk systems, and $27,698.40 to account Public Works radar sign systems. Upon approval, the available balance in reserve fund for transfer to include any pending requests will be $274,287.39. Copies in your packets.
Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Public Works, Michael Tyler, regarding the need for funds to pay a fiscal year 21 hoisting license reimbursement to an employee of the Public Works. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $88.95 from account Public Works licenses to account Public Works previous year's bills. Copies in your packets.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Clerk Stephen Withers regarding the need for funds to purchase a copier for the clerk's office. The current copy machine in this office has reached the end of its useful life, and parts are hard to obtain to repair the ongoing issues. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $3,725 from account citywide reserve fund for transfer to account clerk copier. Upon approval, the available balance of reserve fund for transfer to include any pending requests will be $270,562.39. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Library Director Amy Rillinger regarding the need for funds for wall repair at the library. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $7,500 from account citywide reserve fund for transfer to account library professional services. Upon approval, the available balance in the reserve fund for transfer to include any pending requests will be $263,062.39. Copies in your packets.
Capital Improvements and City, I can't read my own writing, I'm sorry. Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, please.
Okay, I respectfully submit a communication from Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance, Mark Furtado, regarding the following fiscal year 21 fiscal obligations that were not received in time to be processed in the normal fiscal year 21 business cycle. CSM Group Inc.
Waive the reading of that, Steve.
Thank you.
That's going to go to Budget and Appropriations Committee,
Okay.
please.
Yep. I respectfully request your honorable body to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 19th, for the purpose of setting the tax classification for fiscal year 2022. Additionally, and in order to ensure that the city has sufficient time to prepare and mail the third quarter real estate tax bills by December 31st, 2021, I further request that your honorable body hold a special meeting of the Municipal Council for Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, for the purpose of voting on the percentage of the local tax levy to be borne by each class of property for fiscal year 2022.
Thank you. Budget and Appropriations Committee, please. And Councilor Delicio, would you like to hold a public hearing on that matter on October 19th?
Would.
Thank you. Wait, do we have a second?
Second.
No, I say second.
Thank you. The roll call will begin with Councilor Blair, I believe.
Mr. Blair. Mr. Blair, on the
Keep
public hearing.
forgetting the mute button. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Sorry, that's a yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Kovas,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. We'll have a public hearing on that matter on October 19th.
Okay. I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget and Administration, Jeremy Stull, regarding the need for additional funding for the fire department roof replacement project. The bids received for this project exceeded increased cost expectations. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $69,200 from account citywide reserve for capital to account citywide transfer to capital fund, and to further transfer the $69,200 from account citywide transfer to capital fund to fund fire department roofs, other financing sources for costs associated with the replacement of both roofs, including increasing the construction contingency. Additionally, due to the tight time frame to get these roofs replaced before winter, I am requesting the approval be considered an emergency measure. And
Capital Improvement City Development Committee, please.
Sincerely, Paul Haru, Mayor.
And we'll go on to the clerk's communication.
Yes, we received an email that was received from Mr. and Mrs. Wachter of Metacomet Drive requesting the grandfathering the 25-foot wetlands protection to existing homeowners and implement 75 feet for new development.
Thank you. Ordinance Committee, please.
We received a certificate of vote from the planning board meeting of September 13th, 2021, advising 829 Newport Avenue rezoning petition was consistent with the comprehensive plan of the city, and the opinion of the board is the rezoning of the property to general business would not constitute spot zoning.
Zoning and Land Use Committee, please.
We received a letter from David Gallant of Logan's Run requesting a no vote on the proposed 75-foot no disturb amendment to the wetlands protection ordinances.
Ordinance, Elections, and Legislative Matters. Please.
We received information from Mr. Robert Catnacci. It was delivered at the request of the council with specifics of his testimony against the Wetland Protection Amendment.
Ordinances Committee, please.
And we received a letter from Dr. Karen Hemmingson of Richardson Avenue urging council to sign an open letter to Congress urging the end of nuclear weapons threat.
It's an FYI to all councilors.
And that is all.
Thank you. We'll move right along to committee reports, starting with Councilor Blair.
Thank you. Reporting from Public Safety Emergency Management. From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to transfer $220 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 12101-000-578020. Police previous year's bills for costs associated with police recruit psychological exams.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
Unless there's some questions from my fellow councilors, we went over this in committee last week.
Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of September 21, 2021, I move to transfer $4,660.75 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1210100-530104 police medical consultations for costs associated with police recruit medical and psychological exams.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
No, and as long as there's no other comments from my fellow councilors, this was discussed last week, I think, in length.
Agreed. A roll call vote will begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper,
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. I have no other business this evening, but would request the committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor DeSimone.
Thank you, President Cooper. Traffic and Transportation has no business to report this evening, but we too request a meeting at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. From reporting for Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, I have 4 motions for this evening, starting from the docket of September 21st, 2021. I move to transfer $18,150 from the Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the Citywide Transfer to Capital Fund, and to further transfer the $18,150 from the Citywide Transfer to Capital Fund to Fund 3561-4999000, Public Safety Network, other financing sources for costs associated with design and project management of the Public Safety Network.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments, Counselor Conti?
Well, we did discuss this last week, but this is the accumulation of the severing of the police and fire system, computer system from City Hall. And these funds will get that whole ball rolling with the design and project management. It may not be all the funds that are required, but it's likely to be the lion's share. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the docket of September 21, 2021, I move to transfer $33,706 from the Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the library, new computer equipment for the replacement of the library service.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
Yes, Mr. President. As we discussed last week in our committee meeting, the library has cobbled together a computer system by accepting orphans from other systems, piecemealing together a network in that library. And this recognizes that that doesn't work. And so they're getting 2 new workhorses and all of the requisite peripheral attachments to go with it to give them a speedy, quick, and safe new system, which will need to be replaced in 7 years. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the docket of October 5th, 2021, I move to adopt the following emergency preamble. That the Attleboro Municipal Council vote to take action as provided in the city charter, section 2-9, paragraph B, regarding the deadline emergency which presently exists, and approve the transfer of $69,200 from City Reserve for Capital to City Transfer Capital Funds, and then transfer to Fire Department Roofs Fund.
Second.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
Kate.
Kate,
Thank you. Motion is in order. Counselor Conti.
Mr. President, this truly is an emergency measure because, as you've noticed, the leaves are starting to change colors in the swamps. The temperature is dropping in the evenings, and before you know it, it'll be snowing.
And I can't wait.
You can't wait. That new snowmobile is ready to get some exercise.
you paint a beautiful picture, Richard.
And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Counselor Conti. Any additional comments on the emergency preamble? This is just to declare the measure an emergency. A roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes, my apologies.
I'm sorry, no problem. Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the docket of October 5th, 2021, I move to approve the following transfers to the fire department roof project. Transfer $69,200 from account 1124-1000-578380 citywide reserve capital to 1124-1000-599300 citywide transfer to capital fund, and then transfer $62,200 from account 1124-1000-599300 citywide transfer to capital fund to fund 3558-499000 fire department roofs, other financing sources.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
Yes, so today Jeremy and I talked about the unfortunate series of events that took place triggering this emergency measure, and it is strictly the result of the system that the state has set up for us to be able to conduct this type of work. There were 4 bidders on this project, and the first one didn't complete the correct documentation, and there is a considerable amount of documentation needs to be included with the bids, and I can understand why some would be left out, but that disqualified them. And there was such a serious omission that we couldn't waive the omission of the documents. There's nothing we can do about a bidder that sends their contract to the wrong city. And that's what happened with bidder number 3. And the fourth company, oh, I'm sorry, it was the fourth one that sent it to the wrong bidder. So fortunately, we're left with a low bidder of $535,000, which is not that far from the low bid of $510,000, but it puts an unnecessary demand on what Jeremy's trying to do. And what Jeremy's trying to do is get these roofs done with existing cash rather than going out and bond. So I do applaud what Jeremy is trying to accomplish. And I do see the need to get this done before the winter flies. And I do know that the council has been patient in putting up with 3 requests for funds all the way back to $50,000 for the design and specifications, which we thought was a lot of money. But these big flat roofs are a challenge, and they do need to be repaired. So I will repeat that if there was a capital improvement line item in the budget, this wouldn't be necessary. But that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Counselor Delicio.
Less than a question. I just want to kind of add on to Councilor Conti's point. I think this is a blessing, and it certainly illustrates and exposes the flaws in the state bidding process. But, Rick, you are much nicer than I would be, because to me, it's your job. What do you mean you're missing documents? And if it's that significant that the Attorney General is like, you can waive it, it says something. Secondly, you sent the packet to the wrong city. It's very well may be a blessing. So I don't want to belabor the point, but that's where we're at.
Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delicio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the business that the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee has to bring before the council this evening. We look forward to a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Waterman.
Yes, the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee does not have any business this evening. We will meet at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Jackson.
Thank you, Council President. Reporting for the Public Works Committee from the docket of September 21st, 2021. I move to approve the transfer of $20.27 from the Public Works Supplies Equipment account to the Public Works previous year's bills account to pay an invoice from Home Depot from fiscal year 21.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Great. Any from the council? Seeing none, roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yeah.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of September 21, 2021, I move to declare the following as surplus and available for disposition. Quantity 200, description water meters, condition used.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional questions or comments?
Thank you, but I do not have any except for we've been doing this for a few years now with the transfer.
Great, thank you. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of August 17th, 2021, I move to approve the request from National Grid and Verizon to install pole 16-50 with an anchor along Commerce Way to provide service for a solar array located at New England Sports Village.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments, Council
Thank
Jackson?
you. We did have a public hearing a few weeks back and there was nobody here to speak against.
Great. Any additional comments? Seeing none, our roll call will begin with Council Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President, I just wanted to acknowledge a few of our councilors this evening before I close out my meeting. At the POW MIA 9/11 Remembrance the other evening, there was a miscommunication between our veterans agent and the city council. And I want to acknowledge the city councilors who were in attendance, and I appreciate them being there, who were not acknowledged that evening. And I'm apologizing on behalf of the veterans agent, Councilor DeSimone, Councilor Delissio, Councilor Waterman, and Councilor Blair were in attendance and were not acknowledged. And I do apologize to them. And thank you so much for being there. With that, I have no further business this evening for the Public Works Committee, but would like to call for a committee meeting at the appropriate time next week.
Thank you. Councilor Delissio.
Thank you, President Cooper. I have three quick motions this evening from the docket of September 21st, 2021. I move to authorize the payment of $52.50 for a park and forestry bill from fiscal 21 to Call's Office Supply. There is no transfer of funds needed to pay these bills as there is sufficient funding in 2607.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
A roll call vote will begin with Council Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
yes,
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
yes,
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to authorize the school department to pay previous year's school bills totaling $6,053.84 as identified in a communication from School Finance Director, Mr. Furtado.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. Roll call vote will begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
And finally, from the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to authorize the school department to pay previous year school bills totaling $1,222.68 as identified in School Finance Director Mr. Furtado's communication.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. Seeing none, a roll call will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
Thanks, President Cooper. That is all the business for budget and appropriations, and would like to call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Cobus.
Thank you, President Cooper. Reporting for Zoning and Land Use Committee. We have one item tonight. From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to accept the land donation from Mr. and Mrs. King as shown as PCLA on a plan drawn by E. Otis Dyer, RPLS, dated August 27th, 2021, entitled Plan of the Widening of a Portion of May Street and Newport Ave in Attleboro, Massachusetts, prepared for the city of Attleboro for the construction of sidewalks on May Street. The assessed value of this parcel is $868.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments? Seeing
We
none,
discussed it last week. Yeah.
roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
That concludes the business for the Zoning and Land Use Committee. I call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Motion. We'll move on to Counselor Dolan.
Thank you. Reporting for License Committee, I have 3 motions this evening from the docket of September 21st, 2021. I entertain a motion to approve the application for keeping a stand in a public place for Moran's Inc. to have 3 tables on the front sidewalk of Moran's, May through October at 16 South Main Street.
Second.
Your motion is in order. Any additional comments?
I don't have any additional comments.
Great. Counselor, roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the application to waive section 11-15.1 to serve alcoholic beverages on city property from the Friends of Caper Park Zoo regarding their function October 2nd, 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
No, we discussed this. It's for Night at the Zoo on October 2nd.
Thank you. Roll call vote will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. From the docket of September 7th, 2021, I entertain a motion to change the public hearing date of October 5th, 2021 to October 19th, 2021 for the potential revocation of the Class 2 license for R&D Motors at 116 Dickens Street.
Second.
thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
This is just the change of the date of the original public hearing.
Thank you. A roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes,
11 yeas, 0 nays.
thank you. Motion passes.
That's all the business the licenses committee has for tonight, and we call for a public hearing, a committee meeting at next appropriate time. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Counselor Reynolds.
Thank you. Reporting for City Property and Claims Committee, I have two motions this evening. From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to accept the donation of a picture of the Attleboro Fire Department from 1921, donated by Antonio Rebello to the Treasurer's Office.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
No, I have none.
Thank you. Motion is in order, and the roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
From the docket of September,
Motion passes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry.
Okay.
From the docket of September 21st, 2021, I move to approve the donation of card-making supplies and scrapbooking material with an approximate value of $200 to the Council on Aging from Laura Gignac.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any additional comments?
I have none.
Thank you. The roll call will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
That is all the business City Property and Claims Committee has this evening, but I would like to call a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Great. Thank you. Counselor Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting for Ordinance, Elections, and Legislative Matters Committee, I just have one motion this evening. From the docket of September 7th, 2021, I move to call for a public hearing on October 5th for the following proposed ordinance amendments to Section 16, request for addition of Section 16 -9.3 of the revised ordinance of the City of Attleboro.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments?
This is just calling for the public hearing.
Great. Thank you. Seeing none, roll call vote will begin with Counselor Blair.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Hold on 1 second. I'm not going to declare that vote. I think it's actually the 19th. I gotta go back and look at my notes. I know Council Holmes, we went back and forth in email and text, but I think we landed on the 19th.
We started with the 19th and then it was switched.
Actually do 10-5. Yep, you're right. 10-5. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Needed to go back and check that. So thank you. Motion passes. And anything else, Council Holmes?
Nothing else. That concludes the business, and I'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time. I know we have so many, there's like a lot of public hearings in October, I think, so.
Bring your sleeping bag. There is no new business. There's no old business. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any additional comments? Seeing none, a roll call vote will begin with Counselor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Cobus,
Yes.
Mr. Delissio,
Yes.
Vice President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Waterman,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
President Cooper.
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. We are adjourned at 7:40.
Virginia nailed it.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.